5. Pink there, Morning Dave here. It's 8:39, and the sound of the cash register means we're checking on your money. How's your 401k and your IRA doing this morning? We'll find out. Downtown Sebring we go to the offices of Statler Financial Service. Phillip Statler standing by. Phillip, good morning. How are you today?
Good morning, man. Doing well. I am. It's a little warmer than I expected this morning, but it's a good thing.
Now, we get an improvement in the temperature on the overnight low, and then it turns around and only gets up to like 62 degrees this afternoon. So, as a guy that's nursing a cold, I'm kind of whining. I would like to see some warmth in the afternoon, maybe melt some of the cotton out of my sinuses. That would help a little bit. I'm not going to get it today outside. That's for darn sure, am I?
No, I don't think so. I think we are in for not a real warm day today.
I think not. Financially, things are getting warmer, though. We ended up with a pleasant surprise to start our macro day. ADP, the big payroll service, always reports how much they project increases in employment in the private sector, and they do it a couple of days before the official government numbers, so everybody gets real excited about it. Even though the number isn't always right, it generally gives us a direction and an idea as to whether or not we're going to beat expectations, and we kind of walloped expectations with the ADP report this time, didn't we?
Yeah, we really did. The economists that were polled expected about 178,000 new jobs to come in, and it ended up coming in at 213,000 jobs for the month of December. So they like that. That was, I think, you and I both agree that that's kind of when we saw a bump in the futures this morning.
Yeah, the futures were piddling around basically in the positive range, but nothing exciting. About the time the ADP report started leaking out, we had a distinct knee upward on the Dow and the S&P and the NASDAQ futures this morning. Didn't even ruin their day when they got a mortgage report, and the mortgage applications last month, well, about the way we expected, down again, I gather.
Well, it is. And now this isn't the monthly number yet, Dave, but this is the weekly number. So
Okay.
The weekly volume decreased by another 3% from the week before. And they're just, it's coming about because interest rates, even though they've kind of stabilized, they've ticked up just a little bit. I mean, not even much at all, but that little bit of a nudge and the price of housing has seemed to put a little decrease on mortgage applications.
I still remain confused, and I'm not really conclusive in my own mind as to whether we really are causing a mortgage recession with these increased rates, or whether or not just all of the ballyhooing and advertising about how low they are and they're going up, better do it now, whether we force the market early. That's one of those things that time will tell, whether we just pre-bought a bunch of stuff or whether or not we really are slamming the housing market.
Well, and the other thing too is that doesn't really tell us how much is new purchase homes and how much is refinances. I think refinancing for the most part is probably pretty much done. The other thing that I saw is if you compare last week with a year ago, the volume's down 16.5% from where it was last year this time.
That makes a difference. Yeah, and your point's taken. I mean, when the interest rates are going up, everybody that was going to refinance at 3.5, 3.75, that's over for the moment. So what we're seeing is, in all probability, new home purchases and existing home purchases. So it might not sound as terribly bad as it looks every time we do this report, right?
And that's true, because it's the new home stuff that's, it's the purchase of a home to me is what's being the beneficial part, because that shows people are still buying real estate. So the refinance stuff, that's all well and good. That's people probably spending money, but it's the purchase of a home that keeps me going forward.
Oh, absolutely, without a doubt. This is a weird week because after the way the month is ending and the way the next month is beginning, combined with a bunch of scrambling after the shutdown ends so quickly, we don't know for sure when the gross domestic product first look report is coming out. One of my sheets said it was coming out at 1:30 this afternoon, but then again, it said the ADP report wasn't going to be coming out until noon either, and we got that early. So sometime today, best we can say, we're going to get a first look at the gross domestic product for the last quarter. And you and I have kind of agreed, I think, Phillip, that's going to be a real market mover if it's one side or the other of expectations to any great degree.
Yeah, I agree. It is one of those numbers, and I'm kind of disappointed this morning that it didn't hit out here at 8:30 like we thought. But you're right. That number is going to be important to kind of give us a bellwether as to how the economy is really moving.
Are we growing? Are we not growing? How fast are we growing? I mean, it was only about 6 months ago, Philip, I was saying, we're bumping our nose on overheating here, people. Going back down to 3% growth wouldn't be bad. Now we're all of a sudden getting nervous at the notion that we might only be looking at just a little under 3% growth.
Well, yeah, and the expectation right now is 2.6%.
So if we do 3%, it'll be a pleasant surprise and everybody will be happy, right?
Exactly. Yep.
Even those of us that are chickens and that are canaries in the coal mine and screw around with overheating phraseology. A whole bunch of stuff coming in as far as companies are concerned. And the big kahuna that's always on the block is Apple. And they had some information yesterday, didn't they?
They did. They came out. They beat their earnings by 1 cent a share. Their forecast was also above the forecast. So revenue was good. Earnings were good. iPhone sales once again slowed down. But whenever the CEO Tim Cook talks and talks some upbeat stuff, well, then the stock kind of likes that. So we're seeing Apple trading up this morning, a little over 4.5%.
Is there a possibility that maybe we're finally outgrowing the notion that Apple is just a one-product company? So goes iPhone, so goes Apple.
I think we're seeing more and more of that, Dave, because it is becoming more and more diverse. And so it's not just the iPhone, it's the watch, it's the iPad. So there's more than just, and don't forget, the old thing that started Apple, the computer itself.
Yeah, I got to keep in mind too. They basically own the streaming music business in this country. I mean, there's a lot of others, but Apple's got such a doggone big share of that. That's a money machine for them as well. I mean, the iPhone's successful, no doubt, but every time we come out with, iPhone sales are flattening out, Apple gets beat in the face with a 2x4, and that's never seemed just. And I'm no Apple fan.
Yeah, I know. You're exactly right. Hey, I want to mention this one before I forget about it. eBay. We talked about eBay. I can't remember, it was into last week maybe, about a buyer coming in and buying a big chunk of it. One of the firms, but they reported and they beat by 3 cents a share, and so that was good. Their revenue was basically in line with estimates. But here's why I didn't want to forget about them today. They have announced their very first dividend.
Ooh.
Coming out this quarter. They're going to pay out 14 cents a share, and they're going to increase their share buyback program by $4 billion. So that's some record news coming out from eBay. Now, it's not really helping their stock this morning. They're trading down about 1/3%, 12 cents, not much at all. It was down about 1% yesterday. But I thought that was interesting. They're going to pay out their first dividend this quarter.
That and the stock buyback program, kind of the harbinger of, yep, this is an ongoing concern. It's not one of those flame out internet companies, right?
Oh, exactly. And that's probably not, I thought it would help the stock more than what it is, but it's really not this morning.
Yeah, somebody must have wanted more than they actually gave them. Few other household names reported this morning before we run out of time. I know a lot of them folks are going to recognize on their face, right?
Yeah, we do. We got AT&T. Now, they came in, their earnings came in as predicted. Revenue was a little bit low from where the street expected it to be. They reported that they had, lower than expected net new wireless subscribers, which is one of those key kind of indicators they keep a track of. And so AT&T is trading down this morning about 2.8%.
Well, poop.
Yeah.
I don't have them on my big loser list, but when you told me that it was less than expected subscribers, I started looking down the list to see the end of my big loser list is at 3.25. So
at 3.25, that's not much.
No. Did we have McDonald's at all?
I don't have McDonald's on my tip sheet.
I think I saw them as a small miss, but I didn't see the numbers, so I suspect we're going to hear about them as the day progresses as well.
I think so. I think I saw a little blurb that said that they hit on earnings, they missed on same restaurant sales.
Understood. In
So
other words, we're in the middle of a busy earnings season. One more stock that catches the eye that's a household name before we got to go.
So I'm going to say probably Boeing, one of the
Wow.
Dow 30s. They beat pretty big today. Not quite, but almost. They beat by $1 a share. Revenue also was ahead of forecast. They topped $100 billion in annual revenue for the first time. And they gave some good earnings numbers and a good number for the rest of 2019. They're trading up a little over 6% this morning before the market opens up.
I knew we'd have something on Boeing as they were on the network news last night with a lot of good stuff in the pipeline for them. Everybody was expecting a good report out of them. Setting the table for the morning, yesterday was an up day on Wall Street if you had the Dow. The rest of the exchanges, not quite so. Dow was up by about 52. NASDAQ, on the other hand, fell by 57, and the Standard & Poor's was off by a little under 4 yesterday, so call it a mixed bag. We kind of alluded to it, Philip, when the ADP report went over the wires this morning. Things went up. How far up are we going 45 minutes early?
Yeah, it was a pretty good bounce, Dave. The Dow's expected to open up about 0.8% this morning. That's $200. The S&P 500 is up 9 3/4, about 1/3%. NASDAQ is right in line with the Dow this morning. It's up 55.5, which is about 0.8%. Gold's up just a little bit, about 0.1%. Silver's up about 0.5%. Man, that crude oil is heading back up. It's up 1% this morning to $53.85 a barrel.
I think we almost have to start cheering for stability in Venezuela. They say that's the reason that crude oil is going up. And I really hate to cheer for stability in that fruitcake republic, but it really needs it right now or our gas prices are going to suffer, right?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I filled up last night at $2.25, and that's a pretty good increase from. I mean, I can remember when we were at 208, 206. So
I was cheering down to 199 for a little while out of town, but I think we got down to 201 for a little while. Well, like I said, I never thought I'd cheer for Venezuela to get stable, but I think so. Overseas markets are mixed this morning. Japan and China closed on opposite side of the fence. Japan off by a little bit. Chinese markets up a little bit at the close. Europe again mixed this morning as well, so we're not getting any solid guidance from overseas. Phillip, somebody need advice to be able to stabilize and profit in retirement. How do I find you on the phone for a snapshot?
Devin, give us a call at 863-382-0037. Follow us online at our website at statlerfinancial.com. And then follow us on Facebook, where we repost most of these. We have a little technical difficulty every now and then, but we repost this video every morning to Facebook. So follow us at Statler Financial Services, and then join us every weekend for the Statler Financial Radio Show, noon on Saturday, 10 a.m. Sunday mornings on News Talk 7:30 a.m.
And I'm always glad you're the one on the video and not me.
We might work on changing that one time, Dave. But
not
hey,
your life.
have a great day, and I will talk to you in the morning.
You got it, my friend. It's 105.